Over here is the what's it called? It's the electric house, basically, to convert everything off grid. We got a bunch of chickens back in
Who
there.
Who set up all that? Like, I don't know any. I don't know what that means.
So all that is if we had to take all of this.
This is
this whole farm.
What is this power right here, Matt?
This can power the entire farm.
Those 2 solar panels.
This plus the solar panels we have in the back, plus a little bit on the house. We can power the entire farm, man. We can power the entire farm, and that is so. We got a well up here, that is the well for the house.
Okay.
We've got a well down in the bottom of the property.
And then the well down there, is it shared with the other house / farm down there?
But it can. It's
okay.
not, but we've got a 2,000 gallon storage tank there, and we have 3,000 feet of piping underground, so we can push water to other properties if we ever needed to take care of people.
Right.
And then we also have spigots every 80 feet, so as we move the animals, we don't have to worry about carting water.
Mm-hmm.
We just literally take these little manual things. Every 80 feet, you can pop something in the ground and get water.
So you're moving the animals because that's supposed to be done for farming?
Yeah, every few weeks, man, we're moving them around to different paddocks. And
did you see, what was that documentary on Netflix about the farm? What was that? Did you tell me to get?
I might have. Yeah, I know who
I think you had the guy on one of your Apogee calls, Jason. He's one of the former SEALs. He works with Echelon Front.
Yeah,
he mentioned it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking?
I know.
They buy a farm that's like completely dehydrated, and they
revamp the entire freaking thing.
Yeah, 100%. The guy that mentored them just said,
"Yeah,
Joel
Salatin."
It wasn't Joel Salatin, but Joel Salatin probably mentored that guy.
Yeah.
And they basically, he said, you're gonna have an ecosystem that doesn't rely on you. It took them 7 years.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
That's a long time.
But it's freaking fantastic, right?
That's a delayed. Talk about delayed gratification.
Yeah, but man, once you're there, talk about sovereignty, right?
Where's Joel? Virginia.
So Joel's in Virginia. Yeah. Yep. Joel's helped us on a bunch of things. One of his proteges, Justin and Becca Rhodes. They also have I think they had something on Amazon as well. They live 30 minutes from here, so we've gotten to connect with them. And
have they come out here to visit you?
Yeah, and we've gone over there to their
beautiful
farm, which is cool. Jim Gale is connected in our community. He's going to be launching an Apogee campus. I think they're going to be launching one in Canada, but he's going around to properties because he shows you how to build those ecosystems based on where you're at, based on, so man.
How much property do you think, what's a minimum property you think somebody needs to start being self-sufficient, like acreage wise?
From what I'm a Bay Area city kid, right? So we've been out here 2 years, so by no means am I the expert.
Yep.
We've just been learning by failing and going, right?
Yes.
So I would have said, you probably need 3-4 acres to really be self-sufficient. Joel Salatin set me straight. He goes, if you have an acre, you take care of your family forever. Piece of cake.
Oh my God.
He set me straight.
I will.
He's a ninja.
I will link up that documentary I'm talking about. I forget what it's called.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't think of the name of it.
It's amazing.
Man, so we've used those resources, used all those folks, and again, just trial by fire, man. Like, as we go.
Were these like little buildings here?
All of the structures were already here.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to keep all our firewood here. There's also electric charging vehicles there. Again, that's the electric hut.
We're in mountains, so it does get cold here, right? In the winter?
It doesn't get bad. Light dusting of snow, but not bad. It's not super extreme here, which is another. This is a rainforest. It's a legitimate rainforest. So we get, obviously a ton of rain. It's great that you're here on a day that's not raining.
Oh, it rains a lot here?
It is a rainforest. Classified as a rainforest.
I was looking at, have you had Pat McNamara on any of your calls?
I haven't yet. No, we've connected.
He's in, it's called like Pinehurst or something, North Carolina.
Yeah.
I looked it up. It said like it rains more than the average.
Yep.
So I was like,
It rains more than Pinehurst. But doesn't get too hot, doesn't get too cold, man.
Okay.
Really not bad. Really not bad. And so, so that hut, we can convert the whole farm to electric if we need to. Over here, we got, so these are all our trees. We got blueberry bushes, we got a bunch of apple trees, persimmon trees. They're starting to produce things right now.
So this is fruit trees here.
Got a bunch of fruit trees up in here.
Do you have to cut the grass, or what do you do?
Yeah, I'll keep some of the weeds down, but a lot of the stuff that'll grow will be comb-free and different. So a lot of the stuff we can cultivate A lot of what
Would you
grows
bring
in
the
here-
animals here? What do you have, goats?
So we've got goats and we got rabbits. And so I'll bring this to them.
Okay.
We'll cut a lot of the bush willow down and give it to the goats. We'll cut a lot of the comfrey and all this out of here and give it to the rabbit, so it cuts down on any of the feed that we need to get. This is our processing facility right here.
The meats?
So this is our meat processing.
Okay, so you know how to do that, or?
Yeah, we learned, man. Trial by fire.
What do you, cattle, deer, what do you?
We can do anything in there. We've done goats because we have a lot of goats. We have meat goats and dairy goats.
Okay.
So we've done a number of goats. What we do the most is rabbit.
Yeah. My buddy who I'm going to meet up with, he took his son hunting and they got a rabbit, and he said his dad would take when he was younger. Yeah. His dad said, if you're going to kill it, you have to learn how to process it. Yeah, how to eat it. Yeah.
That's right. So my wife and I, that's like a date night, every week,
awesome.
Right? As we get in here and we turn on some music, man, and just get to talk, and we take care of business.
What about drinking goat milk, raw milk? Do you drink raw milk?
Every day.
Nice.
Yeah, every day. We do. So we share the goat milk with the goat babies.
And
so we'll do a milk share with them.
Yeah.
And we'll get about, with our two goats, two milk goats. We got a ton of meat goats, but 2 milk goats, we'll get a half gallon a day.
And then do you just drink it raw, or do you add some honey?
The kids will drink it raw.
Yep.
And then I'll tell you what we do is we'll take that, we'll add a little bit of local honey, add some egg yolks from our chickens.
Oh, wow.
Back there, right?
Yeah.
Freeze it and whip up the best milk ice cream.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Raw milk ice cream, and that's dessert.
Holy crap.
Right? Yeah,
There's, I saw like produce, like farm stands.
Oh yeah.
Your kids can sell off the side of the
road.
road. Yeah.
Side of the road, yeah, for sure. But we produce about what we consume, except for rabbits.
Yep.
Dude, we can't keep them in stock. The restaurants out here, I mean, as many rabbits as we can rock in a given week.
Love it.
The restaurants take them, and so this whole barn over here is for rabbits.
Okay.
This entire thing. So we got a processing facility here, but this we got bunnies. We got the entire setup in here. So we've got moms and some growing babies.
Yep.
All along this side. We got the boys all along this side. And then as those rabbits get old enough to be taken to go from mom, where they get to a point where mom's like, get out.
Yep.
She's kind of done.
Yep.
And so then they'll come over here.
Was this set up, Matt, before you got here?
Set up before we got here. So we learned how to do. The farmer that sold us this, he stayed here for 45 days to show us how to do everything.
That's amazing.
That was part of the deal.
I wonder if he continued this where he moved to.
He's trying to volunteer. He's in a spot where he can't do it, so he misses it.
Why? Because of rules in Canada?
Or? Just where he's at. Yeah, he just doesn't have everything built out yet. He thought they were going to go build a house.
Must be breaking his heart.
It is breaking his heart. So he comes back here twice a year. Sometimes we have RV hookups on the grounds. He'll hook up an RV and just stay here for a week to help, just to hang out. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Great old guy. And so then we end up lining all of this. A whole bunch of them will move over, and when they get to be of age, then we'll.
So your kids are definitely busy helping to do all this.
They've got, depending on the season.
Yep.
They'll have usually about an hour's worth between the 3 of them of chores in the morning. Usually about 45 minutes to an hour at night, and then every 2 to 3 weekends, there'll be like this time of year, there'll be probably a 3 or 4 hour job of moving some animals down in the pastures, redoing net fencing, things like that. I take care of the majority of like the lumberjacking and chopping things down and using the hand tractor to knock things down as we go further back, because the property goes 20 acres back in that direction, back up into another mountain.
Yeah, when I drove through, I couldn't really hold the camera while driving.
Yeah.
It's interesting too that so you've got 1 boy, 2 girls. They're doing quote unquote manual labor, which in my opinion is strength training.
Yes, it is.
I learned about that when I heard of like the wrestlers from Pennsylvania. And so whenever a doctor, says don't lift weights, or parents like, should he lift? I go, if we lived in Pennsylvania and you had a farm, you would probably work at least 45 minutes to an hour before going to school. And what would they do? Carrying buckets of water, farmer walk, carrying bags of feed for the horses, the goats.
We got a feed hut around the corner over here. feedbacks are 50 pounds.
Yeah.
My boy's 50 pounds.
Right.
Right. So
it's
it's
amazing.
Like, here we go.
Yeah.
You know.
Whose shirt is this, by the way? Mark Smelly Bell.
Yeah, man.
Our boy.
Bell brothers.
Yep.
Yeah, good dudes, and I know you do too. Man.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean they're lifting that. We got bales of hay out by the chickens. That's a hay barn over there, and bales of hay. So they'll have to
lift.
They have to lift. They gotta
it's
load
the
bales.
ultimate in
a
strength
wheelbarrow.
training.
This is not flat ground.
Oh yeah, this is
on,
not
right?
easy.
This is not easy.
This is a tough.
You put a bale of hay or two in a big giant wheelbarrow.
On uneven surface,
on uneven surface, and you battle that.
Yeah.
Right. My kids are strong.
And I got to tell you, like, I heard a podcast. Have you guys had Dom Rosso on?
Man, I just talked to Dom.
Okay.
Like 2 weeks ago.
He's up in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
So I was watching his podcast on Ironclad, and I don't know if the guy was a former NFL player, but he said, "How did you transition from military into quote unquote, regular everyday civilian life?" He's this football player is like, it's a little tough for me coming from football. And he says, I'm doing jujitsu. And Dom said, I told my wife that if I'm going to be the best version of myself, then every morning I got to go and train something in the gym, strength and conditioning, and I have to do firearms, shooting. And that makes him, he said, a better man, husband. And to me, that's what makes better kids. Like, kids in schools are oftentimes in buildings with no windows.
Right.
So you might go to school, you don't know 5 hours later if it's sunny or raining or what happened to the weather. Like, it's just shit for the mind and body.
It very much is, man.
It is. It's you probably saw that recent Instagram video. The guy's like, why would you take this creative little kid and make him sit?
That's
and it's because
I think I reposted that.
Probably. What's the saying in everything that sucks? Well, we always did it that way. Things evolve. Like, what if Gary Vaynerchuk talks in marketing? He's like, what? He's like, well, we don't use the yellow pages anymore. You have to fucking evolve.
Bingo. We're not using typewriters.
That's
we're not
it.
Out here. We're using cotton gins.
Yeah.
Right. And what you said, schools are designed to never change, to never evolve. You got to ask why that is.
It's hard. It's
because
really.
It wasn't ever meant for human development in the first place. The design of it was not.
What was the design, Matt? Because I don't think everybody knows that you were a middle school administration. Was it because parents worked and we needed the kids somewhere while parents were working?
And that's what it's turned into culturally.
Yep.
The initial design was a military design to go, hey, our guys are not as obedient as we would like them to be.
Yep.
So how do we make them more obedient? Well, of course, you make it normal to be obedient from the time they're young. So let's get a government system that trains you to be obedient to the government without question, apathetic to any of your own dreams, smart enough to follow directions, not quite smart enough to innovate or to challenge or to kick anything back. So let's start there. And so then you have all these the industrial revolution and oligarchs and these guys that they were phenomenal businessmen, but they went, that's a great system. What if we bring that over here too, and we make that a mandatory public school system?
Damn.
We can train workers, and they legitimately said, we want a nation of workers, not a nation of thinkers.
I feel like this
built for that.
Younger, like I'm looking at some of the kids I coached from like Rutgers and Lehigh. So they'd be in like their mid-late 20s now. Some of them are not getting a quote-unquote regular job. They're kind of more so chasing what gives them freedom and happiness. So, for example, some of them will open a wrestling club and also have a food truck. They're like, capitalists. They're learning.
Gig economy sort of deal.
Yeah, and they're not worried about what was told to you and I. What was told to you and I when we were our parents. Get your pension, get that.
Right, get your good grades.
None of that shit is guaranteed.
Go get your one job that you stay at for 30 years.
For 30 years.
Get a pension, invest in your 401k.
Fuck is that? What is that? That's like it's like a zombie.
Brother, it's not real. It's not the way the world works now. And I'll tell you what, like my mom, amazing woman. Amazing woman. Actually doesn't live too far from here now. Phenomenal woman. Worked for one organization for like 44 years, man. Worked her butt off, it was great. Did all the things you're supposed to do, invested in her 401. It was great. She's struggling in retirement to figure things out.
Why?
She
Because of the
struggled, right?
pension,
Just
or
because, yeah, just because everything is designed to go. Okay, what is this
She
low
was-
bar? What is this low bar? So now she's living off the 401k, and then you gotta add in Social Security, right? And she was doing all the things she was told to do too. And it's like, okay, I'm okay, but I also have to check in. I gotta be on this fixed budget. Nobody was taught how money actually works. And we're very much not teaching anybody now how money actually works.
let's say you have a business class and you're just studying. I want you to build a business. My son actually
You bet.
is learning to build his lawn care business. He watches like people on YouTube document how they started,
Yep.
and then they have 150 lawns.
Yep.
And he's realizing, like, I may not go to college.
Yeah.
I might just build this business, and I don't have to go to college to know how to use the stock market or crypto.
Bingo. And hey, by the way, college is always there. So if he
Yes.
decides at 27 he wants to
Right,
go,
right.
cool, freaking go. If you've got a reason to do it, great.
Right.
That sounds
like
good.
my daughter will she'll definitely go to college.
Yeah.
Tennis, studying business or pre-law, you know.
And then guess what? She'll study business or pre-law, and then maybe she goes into business or goes into law and realizes that's where the actual education comes. All of this was pretend. Right? I've taken business classes by guys who have never run businesses.
That's right, yeah.
And I'm like, cool, man, thanks for all the theory.
You're right.
This is what's actually working, what's actually not. Like, it's not the same game.
Everything, hands-on learning is just
doing the thing.
It is
always
the way.
to
Yeah,
learn to do the thing.
100%. Did you see that? This is like a video that goes around, and it's just like the audio, and it says like, so-and-so had this job for so many years, and then she died, and 24 hours, 48 hours later, her desk was cleaned out, and she was working so hard for the pension, and
That's right.
now that's gone.
That's right.
And so it is, maybe we say it, but I think what's important, Matt, is like, can you write your own paycheck? Like if they take everything away from you, can you write your own paycheck? And I think once you learn to build a business, you can do it in
any kind of industry.
yeah. So like I have a strength
100%.
and conditioning business,
Yep.
but what if I wanted to just take those principles of relationship building and
Bingo.
caring for
Transfer to something else.
yeah, I could
You
open
absolutely
a
can.
coffee shop, or I could open whatever, smoothies, any of that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Those principles transfer, but you know what else transfers? The lessons up here.
Oh, yeah.
Now, because now you know who you are. Now you know what resilience is. We had Frank Grillo.
I know the name.
So he's in a bunch of movies, bunch of TV